Welcome to Q&A practice. Let's get started with a little warm-up. Just some two voice, and we'll start with the defense attorney. Ready? How long was she at St. Mary's Hospital before she died? Well, it was less than 24 hours. I think she was admitted at approximately 10 p.m., and I think death was somewhere around 9 p.m. the next evening. As far as you know, did your wife ever come out of it in the sense of speaking or being active again? No. And was Dr. Blake, as far as you know, the only doctor who saw your wife throughout this time? Oh no, he turned her over to another doctor at the hospital. Would that be Dr. Mack? Right. What did Dr. Mack or Dr. Drake do at the hospital? I don't know. They took her in the emergency ward and gave her a thorough examination and ran all their tests and everything. They took her upstairs and they had a nurse with her the whole time she was there. Were you with her? I was at the hospital the whole time, but most of the time they had me out in the hall. Was Dr. Mack, if you know, a neurosurgeon or a neurologist? I haven't the slightest idea. Or does he have a specialty? I don't know. At a time like that, I didn't ask too many questions. I can imagine how you felt. And was an autopsy performed? Yes. Now from the autopsy, of course, we know that your wife had diabetes. Did you ever know that she had diabetes before her death? The only diabetic that I ever heard talk about was her mother. Did anyone tell you, even after her death, that she had diabetes? Only what the doctor said at the hospital. After she came out of the emergency ward, he said it was diabetes? Yes. Which doctor said that she had diabetes? Dr. Mack. He told me she had probably had it for quite some time and just never knew it, or else she ignored the symptoms. Now for some four voice practice with our transcript. And we will start with the plaintiff attorney. Ready? Okay. Just to try to recollect some of the history of the gazebos. Did you just do that during this past break? Yes. Okay, so we took a break and you had a chance to confer with your attorney. Is that correct? Yes. And based on that, you made a phone call. Is that correct? Actually, it was before I conferred with him. Okay, did you confer with your attorney over the lunch break? Just about lunch. Okay, all right, and now you've come back and are correcting the record. Is that correct? That's correct. Who did you speak with? Wes Smithson. How do you smell Smithson? Smythsone. So Mr. Smithson told you that Mr. Van and Mr. Vance were not involved in the original design of the canopies at issue in this case. You have to answer yes. You can't just nod. Yes. Thanks. You're welcome. But Mr. Van and Mr. Ramos were involved in the design of the canopies at issue in this case. That's my understanding. Yes. And Mr. Smithson also told you that no Wilton products were used or relied upon in coming up with the design of the canopies at issue in this case. That's correct. Did he tell you how Ryder North came up with the design of the canopies at issue in this case? There was another brand that was the only one that he remembered. So did Ryder North rely on a product developed by another company to develop the design of the canopies at issue in this case? No. So tell me what the relevance of the product is. Just to see the quality of the product, see what's in the market. Can you describe the other product for me? Honestly, I've never seen it. So somebody at Ryder North purchased a different canopy product. I don't know. So all that Mr. Smithson told you, well, why don't you tell me? What did he tell you about the other product? It was a gazebo that a sporting goods company was carrying. Okay, what else did Mr. Smithson tell you about this? That was about all that he could remember too. It was a gazebo that they were carrying. They wanted us to see if we could make one, and that's about all he could remember. And when did this take place? In 2008? I don't remember. I didn't ask him the specific dates. At the time that they approached Ryder North regarding developing a gazebo, was Ryder North already supplying products to? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. And I don't remember. That's a long time ago. I know you know exactly where I'm going with my questions, but let me finish. I'm sorry. My question. Sorry. So let me just get it right for the record. At the time that they approached Ryder North about developing a gazebo product, was Ryder North selling other products to them? I don't recall. Okay, and I'm sorry, I think you already testified to this, but you don't know the time frame that this took place. Is that correct? Correct. So is it your understanding that Ryder North took the product they sold and used that as a basis for developing its canopy products? Objection asked and answered, but go ahead. I don't know. Did Mr. Smithson tell you anything else during this conversation that you had with him? No. Do you have contact information for Mr. Smithson? Not with me. Did you call him or did he call you? He called me. He left a voicemail. Had you left a message for him previously? No. So, we talk every once in a while. What caused him to call you? Say hi. And this was earlier today? This morning. This morning. Okay, before the deposition? Actually, it was when we were before the deposition. We were in court. Okay, all right. I put before you Deposition Exhibit 26. It's a series of emails on the second page, which is Bates number 4023491. Yes. Is the Mr. Lee referenced there the Mr. Lee that you were talking about earlier? I can't tell for sure. It appears to me, but I can't tell for sure. Is Mr. Lee with a supplier that goes by Western? I believe he's still with them. And he was at the time of Deposition Exhibit 26, to the best of your knowledge. To the best of my knowledge. Okay, do you know what the frame system is that's referred to in Deposition Exhibit 20 on the second page? Is it center post design? If you don't mind, let me read this really quick. No, please. I just want to scan it really quick. You know, Steve, if you ever need to read the entire document to get the context of the language here, you can do that. Well then, I don't know. I'm sorry, did you say he can't? I said if he ever needs to read the entire document to understand the context of the question, that he can do that. I'm sure you're not going to say that he can't do that. No. I thought that you had said he can't do that. I said he can do that. I'm sorry, did I? Did you misunderstand me, Steve? No. Okay. No, you were just clarifying that I asked a question. If I could read through it, that's all. Yeah. And absolutely, if you ever need to read through a document, take my time. Yeah, I can't tell from this. Okay, so based on Deposition Exhibit 26, you can't tell whether the frame system referenced therein is a center post design? No. In the email that carries over from the first page to the second page, there's an N002681 to N002683. There's a reference to a patent held by Mr. Van. Do you see that? Yes. do a little more practice here. A little more Q&A. And again, this will be back to just two voice. And we'll start with defense. Ready? Was this upon your request? Well, probably indirectly. When you got there, you went to see some particular individual, correct? Yes, I believe you asked me for a name. I have two names here. No, it's one name written twice, Don Campbell. When you went down there with the specific intent to examine a particular gun, which you believed was involved in an accident and a power supply. Is that correct? Yes. From what you can recall, what was the specific question that you put to this Mr. Don Campbell? Yes. And you believe he is the one that directed you to the particular work area? No, I suspect there was another man there, and Mr. Campbell had this other man direct me to the area. And point out the power supply? Yes. And point out the gun? Yes. In regard to the power pack, what portion of the power pack did you look at in order to determine the model number and the serial number? I believe that was on a tag on the exterior of the power supply. This was a paper tag attached to the power supply unit. I don't recall, but I don't think it was. No, actually, as I think about it, I don't recall. It was a metal tag that was in some way attached or fastened to the supply unit itself. Yes. Do you recall how the tag was attached to the supply unit? I don't know exactly. It was flat to the surface so that it could not be easily removed. It must have had some sort of adhesive on the back. I know there were no screws. When you indicated a tag on the gun, was this also a metal tag? That's my recollection, yes. You indicated further that there were two areas where there were numbers tagged to the gun. I don't believe I did. And that will conclude our Q&A practice.